Oh, greetings everyone. I've no doubt that this country and the world in general is absolutely bloody mad, and I've just picked a few bits and pieces out of the paper today to perhaps emphasise the stupidity of the world in which we live. An article in the paper from yesterday reporting on the fact that one of the AFL players by the name of Ramp has been fined $10,000 Australian, half suspended, so it's only $5,000, for telling umpire Jacob Mollison, wait for it, for telling the umpire that he, quote, talks like a little girl, unquote. $10,000 fine for saying talks like a little girl. His comments, according to the AFL, were quite unacceptable. I dare say that umpires have had much worse than that said to them. I cannot believe that there has not been more concern from society about the absolute stupidity of the AFL in fining this fellow $10,000 for saying that he talked like a little girl. Are there little girls everywhere who are traumatised by the fact that an umpire has said, or that an umpire has been told that he talks like a little girl? Would they even be aware of it? What a load of social justice warrior rubbish. Unbelievable. And yet the AFL just goes ahead and does it. Absolutely bloody hopeless. Let's move on to the next piece of stupidity, an indication of just the way that society is working at the moment. A big article here, very, very sad article indeed. Kids stressed out at NAPLAN plan. Good heavens, this means that the kids might actually have tests and exams, and they might even think that they might fail. Or perhaps they won't be quite as good as their mates, and we can't have that these days because every child, intellectually, is as good as each other. Sportingly, that's all right. We accept that some kids are better than that. But intellectually, every child has to be the same. There's no question of that. I'll quote from the article here. Kids are so stressed out about NAPLAN, some think they will never have a job, have money, or buy a house if they don't perform well at NAPLAN. Experts, my God, say that some school kids are feeling intense anxiety over the controversial national numeracy and literacy tests which start today. And in response, some parents are opting to withdraw their kids from the test to save them from the stress of having to sit for an exam. Yes. Oh my God. Angelique Howell of Queensland University School of Education conducted a study from years 3, 5 and 7. Now let's put that into perspective. They're probably around about 9, 11 and 13, for crying out loud, which included asking them to draw what it felt like to do the tests. For some children, poor NAPLAN scores mean a future of unemployment and poverty, as they believe you could never ever get a job and get money and maybe couldn't even get a house, Dr. Howell said. This is because they believe they need to do well in NAPLAN in order to get into a, quote, good, unquote, high school and subsequently into university. Well, guess what? You should be smart to get into university. You should be able to pass the appropriate tests. And there will be some who can't, and let's face it, there are some students who are better than others. One child told Dr. Howell, when the NAPLAN week was coming up, I kept having after NAPLAN dreams, like what would happen if I did really badly. In one of them I was kicked out of the school, which made me feel quite anxious. Another parent revealed that during the study their child wet the bed in the nights leading up to NAPLAN, something they hadn't done in more than 5 years. I despair. Firstly, and I know you should never talk about the old days, but certainly when I was at school, in secondary school, we had 3 exams, first term, second term and final term, every year from Form 1 or Year 7, for crying out loud. We were totally used to it. Some kids did well, some kids didn't do well. That is the way of life. Some kids were damn good at sport, Others weren't. I was hopeless at sport. I wasn't too bad at exams. What the hell? But the situation we have at the moment is that we are simply protecting our kids from the realities of life. Testing and knowledge are important in whatever particular job that you are in. Some people will be better than others. Some people will be richer than others. Some people will be luckier than others. That's simply the way of life. My God, we worry about our kids so much, or society worries about them. Society particularly wants them to all be the same when it comes to intellectual ability, which they're not. And finally, the total stupidity of our politicians. My God, they are hopeless. As I understand it, Scott Morrison had this brilliant idea of offering first home buyers the option of having only 5% deposit, and the government would guarantee the remaining 15% deposit to give the 20% deposit needed by the banks. Well, Economics 101. For a start, the people who can't save up to 20% are likely to face more problems in paying things off. Not necessarily, but I think there's a fair case. Statistically, there'll be more problems there. But even more importantly, once you give a subsidy to anyone, the price of the end product goes up. And I'd like to relate what happened to me when I, as I used to many years ago, drive LPG gas cars. And the rough cost of changeover from petrol to gas was about $1,000 Australian. And then the government in its wisdom decided they wanted more cars to be operated on gas. So they said, we're going to give a subsidy to everybody who converts their car to gas of $1,000. Sounded great. Cost $1,000. Getting $1,000 in your pocket. That means I'll get the gas over for nothing. So shortly thereafter I traded my car in and went along to have the new car converted to gas, and the price had gone up by exactly $1,000. As the fellow said, you're getting $1,000 from the government and the price is $1,000, so now you're going to pay $2,000 for your conversion. Everybody just put the price up, and the subsidy went into the pocket of the people who were doing the gas conversion, and in fact, of course, there was no benefit in terms of more people converting to gas. In this situation, you're going to have more money chasing less houses. There's no question the price of houses, particularly at the lower end of houses, where the first home buyers are looking, are going to go up as a result of this subsidy. So first home buyers will be no better off. Possibly the first home buyers with the government support will be better off, but that's only going to be 10,000 of them. And there's about 100,000 first home buyers each year. So the remaining 90,000 will be second-class citizens behind those first home buyers that managed to get in for the first 10,000 offers covered by the government. Three absolutely crazy systems. What sort of a world do we live in? My God. In any case, that's enough of my grumps for the moment. I'll probably be back tomorrow with more, because every time you pick up the paper there is absolutely more stupidity here. And I won't even go into Israel Follow, perhaps tomorrow, but honestly, that is a story in its own right. In any case, bye for now.